Bruce Springsteen's journey to becoming the emblematic voice of working-class America was anything but smooth. Born on September 23, 1949, in Long Branch, New Jersey, Bruce Frederick Joseph Springsteen grew up in a household weighed down by financial struggle and emotional turmoil. His father, Douglas, worked intermittently as a bus driver and factory laborer. But his mental health struggles often left him absent or volatile. Bruce's mother, Adele, carried the family with tireless dedication as a legal secretary, shaping young Bruce's sense of resilience and responsibility. The family's Irish and Italian Catholic roots exposed him early to strict social norms and harsh discipline, but also instilled in him a sense of deep-rooted community. Bruce's childhood was a complex mix of pain and inspiration. He witnessed relatives dealing with severe mental health challenges, some withdrawing entirely, others breaking down publicly, which left lasting impressions on him. His family frequently moved due to financial constraints, living in cramped, cold apartments that lacked basic amenities. Despite this, Bruce found small sparks of hope and creativity, especially through music. At age 9, he was captivated by Elvis Presley's performance on The Ed Sullivan Show, an event he described as a personal revelation. That spark led him to a rented guitar, lessons, and eventually small backyard performances, even though peers mocked him. By the time he was a teenager, Bruce had begun to play in local bands, experimenting with different sounds and venues. His early experiences with loss, tragedy, and the instability of adolescence, including the death of a close friend in Vietnam and a serious motorcycle accident, shaped his music and fueled his storytelling. These formative years instilled a work ethic and determination that would define his career. Despite initial failures, setbacks, and the pressures of a rigid home life, Bruce's passion for music remained undiminished. Through high school and into his early 20s, Springsteen's relentless pursuit of authenticity in his sound and lyrics began to pay off. He navigated the challenges of performing in small clubs and local events, honing his craft while absorbing the realities of small-town life. This period laid the foundation for his breakthrough, creating the raw emotional intensity that would define his music and eventually lead him to sign with Columbia Records. By the early 1970s, Bruce Springsteen's relentless dedication to music began to yield tangible results. After years of performing in small bars and community venues, he met influential figures who would help shape his career. One of these was Carl Tinker West, a mentor who introduced Bruce to manager Mike Appel. Though initially skeptical, Appel encouraged Bruce to return with stronger material, leading to a pivotal audition with John Hammond of Columbia Records on May 2, 1972. At 22, Bruce was still borrowing a guitar with a cracked neck, yet his performance was compelling enough to secure a recording contract. Shortly after, he met Clive Davis, who also recognized his talent, further opening the door to the music industry. That same year, Bruce formed the E Street Band, named after the street in Belmar, New Jersey, where they first practiced. The initial lineup included Clarence Clemens on saxophone, Gary Talent on bass, and other early collaborators. Together, they created a sound that combined raw emotion, rock energy, and storytelling grounded in working-class experiences. Bruce and the band's early shows were intense and unpolished, drawing local attention and occasional criticism. Some community members even labeled their music as the devil's work. But these early performances allowed Bruce to refine his style and build a devoted following. Bruce's first album, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey, released in 1972, blended his solo sensibilities with the band's collective energy. The label, however, prioritized commercial potential over artistic authenticity, prompting Bruce to insist that the E Street Band be included. The resulting album showcased a mix of solo and group songs, including early versions of tracks like Blinded by the Light and Spirit in the Night. While critical acclaim was moderate, it marked the beginning of a trajectory that would soon catapult him to national attention. The breakthrough came in 1974, when music critic John Landau attended one of Bruce's marathon shows at Harvard Square. His review in the Real paper declared, "I saw rock and roll future, and its name is Bruce Springsteen." That endorsement changed everything, elevating Bruce from obscurity to a rising star in rock music. Landau would become a lifelong manager and co-producer, guiding Bruce through both creative triumphs and the legal battles that would later define his career. With his determination, the E Street Band's relentless energy, and the support of industry advocates, Springsteen was poised to create an album that would solidify his legacy. By 1974, Bruce Springsteen was poised to take a major leap in his career. He began working on what would become Born to Run, an album that would define his early career and cement his place in rock history. Driven by a vision of a wall of sound, inspired by Phil Spector, Bruce became obsessively meticulous, often recording the same line or arrangement for hours or even days. The sessions stretched over 18 months, with the band enduring grueling hours in studio after studio. Bruce's perfectionism pushed everyone around him to their limits, both creatively and physically. Money drained rapidly, but Bruce's determination to capture the sound in his head was unshakable. The release of Born to Run, on August 25, 1975, transformed Bruce's career. The album reached number 3 on the Billboard charts and sold 700,000 copies in its first year, earning critical acclaim and marking his transition from local hero to national rock icon. The title track, with its anthemic energy, became a signature song, while tracks like Thunder Road and Jungleland showcased his lyrical storytelling and vivid depictions of small-town struggles. Though the single never dominated the top 10, it remained a cultural touchstone, and Bruce's first 2 albums finally gained recognition beyond New Jersey. However, Bruce's ascent was not without conflict. In 1976, at the height of his growing fame, he became embroiled in a bitter legal battle with his former manager, Mike Apple. Accusations of fraud and contractual disputes left Bruce barred from recording in any Columbia studio for 10 months, effectively halting his career. During this period, he and the E Street Band played benefit shows and poured their frustrations into new material, creating over 80 unreleased songs that later appeared on The Promise. Despite financial strain and emotional stress, Bruce's resilience never wavered. Finally, in May 1977, the court battle ended. Bruce paid Apple $800,000 and surrendered a portion of his publishing rights, but he regained control over his music. He immediately returned to recording, producing Darkness on the Edge of Town and embarking on a nationwide tour. This period showcased Bruce's relentless work ethic, his commitment to authentic storytelling, and his ability to transform personal struggle into music that resonated with millions. Through adversity, he solidified his reputation as a rock musician who was not just a performer, but a voice for real-life stories. While Bruce Springsteen's professional life soared, his personal life experienced turbulence. In 1985, he married actress Julianne Phillips, 11 years his junior, amid his growing fame. Their union initially appeared stable, with Julianne even joining him on tour. However, by 1988, the marriage began to unravel. Paparazzi captured Bruce on a hotel balcony in Rome with his backup singer Patti Scialfa, a scandal that quickly went global. Julianne filed for divorce later that year, resulting in a $16 million settlement. Bruce later admitted in his memoir that he handled the situation poorly, acknowledging both emotional unavailability and the jealousy that contributed to the marriage's breakdown. Despite public scrutiny, Bruce found stability and partnership with Patti Scialfa. They had already been close collaborators in the E Street Band before their romantic relationship developed. Married in 1991, the couple built a family while supporting each other through the pressures of fame. Their children, Jessica, Evan, and Samuel, became central to Bruce's personal growth and emotional healing. In interviews, he credited Patti with helping him navigate past traumas, and his father's struggles with mental illness, including schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, which had deeply affected him in childhood. Professionally, Bruce continued to evolve. Albums such as Human Touch and Lucky Town in the early 1990s reflected experimentation and adaptation to changing musical landscapes. He explored acoustic storytelling with The Ghost of Tom Joad and responded to social crises through albums like The Rising after 9/11 and Wrecking Ball during the 2008 recession. Each release reflected his commitment to connecting with listeners through authenticity, whether addressing grief, social injustice, or personal reflection. Even in later years, Bruce faced significant health challenges. In 2023, severe peptic ulcer disease forced him to cancel tours, and vocal issues further threatened his ability to perform. Despite these setbacks, he remained resilient, continuing to inspire fans worldwide. Recognized with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016 and the National Medal of Arts in 2023, Springsteen's enduring legacy is defined not only by his music, but also by his resilience, transparency, and commitment to portraying the human experience. Through triumph, scandal, and adversity, Bruce Springsteen remains a mirror to the American story, a storyteller whose voice continues to resonate across generations.